The hall was massive. Light from the tall windows bounced off shining armors of every shape and color. Warriors from hundreds of planets stood in rows, their weapons polished, their cloaks neat. The air smelled of metal, ozone, and tension. This was no ordinary meeting. It was the Grand Interstellar Council, where the greatest soldiers of the galaxy came to show power, skill, and honor. Captain Jarek entered the hall. His boots echoed softly on the polished floor. He wore armor that had clearly seen battle. Plates were dented. Scratches crisscrossed the surface, and some patches were barely holding. His helmet bore marks of strikes that would have shattered most other suits. His shoulder plates had scorch marks. His gloves were worn and frayed. A ripple of laughter passed through the council. Some aliens pointed and whispered. A large reptilian warrior with golden scales sneered. "Look at that human. He wears scraps and calls it armor." His voice boomed, filling the hall. Others joined in. The laughter grew. Some smaller, more elegant beings waved their hands, showing disdain. Jarek did not flinch. He moved slowly, calmly, and his eyes scanned the hall. He did not need to speak. Every step carried quiet confidence. The laughter and whispers reached his ears. But he ignored them. He had faced worse than mockery. On many worlds, he had faced firestorms, collapsing cities, and alien war machines hundreds of times bigger than him. Is that all humanity has sent? A floating, insect-like delegate hissed, hovering a few feet above the ground. Its wings glimmered in the light. A human wearing broken metal. How amusing. Jarek's squad followed behind him. 4 humans, each dressed in similarly battle-worn armor, walked silently. They did not laugh. They did not hide. They trusted him, and that trust was enough. Their eyes met Jarek's, and in them, he saw calm determination. He knew they would follow him into anything, even if the entire council turned against them. Jarek approached the center of the hall. The council leader, a tall being with silver fur and glowing eyes, studied him. The leader's voice was steady, almost gentle. "Captain Jarek of Earth, we have heard your people speak of bravery. Yet this armor seems hardly impressive." Jarek lifted his head slightly. "Armor is only metal," he said simply. "It protects. It does not fight. Humans fight with more than metal." The hall erupted in laughter. Some could not even hide it. The reptilian warrior bellowed, shaking his claws. "Bold words for one who wears scraps. Perhaps your words are as weak as your armor." Jarek remained still. He did not argue. He knew that words alone could not earn respect here. These aliens judged strength by shiny armor and deadly-looking weapons. But experience, courage, and strategy were invisible at first glance. That was fine. He had time. "Captain," said the silver-furred leader, his glowing eyes piercing. "If you wish to prove your worth, you must show us. Demonstrate that your kind is worthy of our respect." The murmurs in the hall grew louder. Some aliens whispered to each other, guessing what Jarek might do. Many expected a simple display, a short fight in his battered armor, maybe a few lucky moves. Surely, they thought, the human would fail. Jarek did not speak. He simply looked around the hall. His eyes fell on the weapons displayed on the walls. Ancient swords, energy rifles, plasma lances, each a masterpiece. He did not need them. He had survived without perfection. He had won battles without advanced weapons. He had fought when everything seemed lost. A young alien with pale blue skin stepped forward. "We accept your challenge," the creature said, smiling cruelly. "Show us your strength, human. Show us what you can do in that junk." Jarek nodded once, almost imperceptibly. Then, slowly, he began to remove his helmet. The hall fell silent for a moment. Some aliens leaned forward, curious. Others laughed again, thinking he was admitting weakness. Under the helmet, Jarek's face was calm. His brown eyes were steady. Lines on his face told a story of long battles and difficult choices. His hair was short, but uneven in places, a sign of survival rather than vanity. He did not flinch. "Armor protects the body," he said softly. "But it cannot protect courage, intelligence, or the will to survive. These scars," he lifted his arm slightly, revealing marks of past wounds, "are proof of what humans endure and overcome." The hall's laughter faltered. The alien council was not used to seeing such honesty. Many had only seen perfection or theatrical displays of power. They had never seen raw proof of survival. Jarek continued. Slowly, he removed parts of his armor, one shoulder plate, one arm guard, then the chest plate. Each piece revealed more of his battle-hardened body. Scars, old burns, and cybernetic implants glinted in the hall's light. They were not beautiful. They were not polished. But they told a story of survival against impossible odds. A hush fell over the hall. The whispers died. The mockery stopped. The reptilian warrior's eyes widened slightly. Even the insect-like delegate hovered closer, curious, almost cautious. "You think armor makes a warrior," Jarek said, his voice firm. "You think metal defines power. But real strength is in the mind, in the heart, in the will to stand when the world falls. Humans survive. Humans adapt. Humans fight, even when everything seems lost." There was silence. Pure, uncomfortable silence. The aliens had never heard words like this, spoken calmly and without threat, yet carrying weight no weapon could match. A young human soldier from Jarek's squad stepped forward. "He has led us through worlds burning with fire. He has saved colonies from annihilation. He has survived battles no one else could survive." The council shifted uneasily. They had judged humans before primitive, weak, unpolished. But here, before them, was a human whose experience outweighed any armor, whose courage outweighed any weapon. Jarek's gaze swept the hall again. "I do not need perfect armor. I do not need perfect weapons. What I have is enough. Experience, courage, and the will to survive. That is why I stand before you today. Not as a joke, not as scraps of metal, but as a human soldier who has fought and lived to tell the story." Some aliens murmured among themselves. The laughter was gone. Eyes that once mocked now stared, wide and thoughtful. Some could not believe what they were seeing. Others nodded slowly, understanding at last that strength was not always shiny or new. The council leader stepped forward. "Captain Jarek, your courage is remarkable. Few beings could speak so openly and command such presence." His eyes, glowing softly, studied Jarek carefully. "Perhaps we judge too quickly. Perhaps we need to look deeper than appearances." Jarek said nothing. He replaced his helmet slowly and began to put his armor back on. But the hall remained quiet. Something had changed. The laughter had vanished. The sneers had disappeared. Even the young alien who had mocked him now studied him with a new respect. Outside the hall, the wind of distant worlds blew through massive corridors. Stars twinkled far beyond the council chambers. Somewhere in the galaxy, battles raged. But in this hall, on this day, humans had shown a simple truth. Appearances can deceive. Courage, experience, and the human spirit cannot. Jarek finished strapping the last piece of his armor. It was still battered, still scratched, still imperfect. But it did not matter. The hall had seen what lay beneath the strength that could not be measured by metal alone. The council leader nodded, and the murmurs started again. But this time, They were not of mockery. They were of respect, curiosity, even fear. The aliens had learned, in a single moment, that humans were not to be underestimated. And Jarek? He simply stood, silent, calm, ready. He knew this was only the beginning. The real battles, the ones that would test every human in the galaxy, were still coming. But for today, the human soldier had won a battle that no weapon could fight, a battle of respect, of acknowledgement, of being seen for who he truly was. The hall fell silent once more. And for the first time, the humans standing with him felt something extraordinary. They felt pride. They felt that, no matter what the galaxy thought, they were ready. Captain Jarek's eyes swept the council one last time. The laughter was gone. The whispers were gone. Only one truth remained. Humans survive. Humans endure. Humans fight, and sometimes, they do it in armor that looks broken but carries the story of 1,000 battles. The hall would remember this day. And the galaxy would soon learn that mocking a human, even for a moment, could be the gravest mistake. The silence in the hall lingered long after Jarek had put his armor back on. The laughter, the mockery, the whispers all had vanished, replaced by an uneasy curiosity. The alien council was not used to this. They were used to grand displays of polished power, to shimmering weapons and flawless armor. But a human? One who wore broken metal and still commanded attention? That was unfamiliar. That was dangerous in its own way. The silver-furred council leader, his eyes glowing softly, leaned forward. Captain Jarek, your words and your scars tell a story we cannot ignore. But words are one thing. Actions are another. Show us your strength. Prove that humanity is more than appearances. Jarek nodded once. He had expected this. Words could convince some, but the galaxy listened most to actions. He glanced at his squad. 4 humans, each armed but patient, waited silently. They trusted him. They had followed him through firestorms, through collapsing cities, through alien ambushes that would have destroyed lesser warriors. Today would be no different. He stepped to the center of the hall. The council's weapons displays gleamed on the walls, but Jarek did not reach for any of them. He needed no sword, no energy rifle, no exotic weapon. What he carried was experience, courage, and strategy. That was enough. Watch carefully, he said, his voice calm, carrying no threat, only certainty. What you see is not armor, not technology. It is survival. It is adaptation. It is the human way. A ripple of unease moved through the council. The young alien who had mocked him before scowled. You speak in riddles, human. Will you fight? Will you prove yourself in combat? Jarek smiled faintly. I fight every day, in ways you cannot imagine. With that, he signaled to his squad. In perfect unison, they moved. First, his squad demonstrated coordinated tactics that were unlike anything the council had seen. They formed formations, moved silently, and attacked invisible threats with precision. It was a dance of strategy, timing, and anticipation. The council watched, puzzled at first. These humans seemed ordinary, even fragile, compared to towering reptilians, winged hunters, and armored titans from countless worlds. But then, patterns emerged. Jarek's squad did not merely react, they predicted. They anticipated each movement, each gap, each weakness. The young mocking alien hissed, "Tricks, simple tricks." Jarek's eyes flicked toward him. Calmly, he raised his hand. Observation is not trickery. It is experience. Then Jarek himself stepped forward. His movements were deliberate, almost casual, but there was a deadly efficiency to them. He simulated attacks, defended, countered each action precise. each decision instantaneous. Every movement carried weight, but there was no showy flourish, no extravagant acrobatics, only results. As he fought, parts of his armor creaked and groaned. Dents shifted, plates scratched further. But he did not stumble. He did not falter. Every scar on his body, every mark on his armor, told a story. The council could see it now. This human had survived battles far beyond the imagination of any of them. "Impossible," whispered a winged alien with feathers like molten gold. Jarek did not answer. He did not need to. His actions spoke louder than words. With a series of calculated maneuvers, he disarmed a mock opponent faster than anyone had expected. His speed was human, but his strategy? Alien in its unpredictability. Then came the moment the council could not ignore. Jarek's chest plate shifted during a simulated strike, and a cybernetic implant glimmered under the light. A thin layer of metal was gone, revealing not weakness, but enhancement born from survival. He had adapted. He had overcome wounds that would have killed ordinary beings. Gasps filled the hall. The council leaned forward. The insect-like delegate hovered closer, its wings vibrating in surprise. "Enhancements. Human. You survived." Jarek nodded slightly. Each scar, each implant, each mark. A lesson learned. Every battle, every world, every colony saved. All of it is part of what makes humans strong. Not our armor, not our weapons. Us. The hall was quiet now. Too quiet. The silence pressed like a weight. Even the mocking alien, the one who had laughed first, stared, unable to hide the flicker of respect forming in his eyes. Then a distant alarm echoed through the council chambers. Red lights flashed along the walls. The holographic screens activated automatically, projecting the outer sectors of the human territory. A massive alien fleet, unseen until now, was moving toward human colonies. Ships larger than anything the council had ever seen, bristling with weapons, moving with deadly precision. The council had been blind. They had thought this was a routine display, a formal meeting. They had not anticipated a threat this immediate. The council murmured, fear flickering across faces that had once laughed. Jarek's eyes narrowed. He stepped closer to the projection. "You see? This is why humans survive. This is why experience matters. This is why courage matters." The council turned to him. Some were skeptical. Some were terrified. One elder reptilian hissed, You expect us to believe one human can counter this fleet?" Jarek's gaze did not waver. "I do not need to convince you. I need to act. Follow, or do not. But we survive, and we fight, because humans do not give up." He signaled again to his squad. They moved quickly, coordinating instantly with holographic displays, mapping out fleet movements, predicting attack vectors, and formulating strategies in seconds. Where aliens saw chaos, humans saw patterns. Where others hesitated, humans acted. The council watched, stunned. They had never seen such coordination, such clarity, such courage under pressure. Jarek moved through the data, highlighting weak points in enemy formations, suggesting tactics that were unconventional, yet brilliant. The insect-like delegate floated forward. "Your strategy. It could work. But humans are small. Your fleet is tiny compared to theirs." Jarek turned slowly. "Size does not matter. Strength does not matter. Adaptation, speed, and intelligence matter. We will defend every colony, every world, every life. That is what humans do." The council leader's glowing eyes softened slightly. "You speak with certainty, with wisdom. You are extraordinary, Captain Jarek. You speak with certainty. Within 5, and a business div." Jarek did not smile. He did not boast. He simply worked. His squad mirrored him, moving in perfect synchronization, directing human fleets, positioning defenses, coordinating evacuation protocols. Every human colony, every settlement, every minor outpost benefited from their actions. Chaos turned into controlled resistance. Destruction became defense. Fear became hope. The alien delegates could not look away. Their pride, their preconceived notions, their assumptions about humans shattered piece by piece. They had mocked a single soldier with broken armor. Now, that same soldier orchestrated the defense of entire sectors. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. The human fleet, under Jarek's guidance, countered strike after strike. Alien ships advanced, only to be rerouted, trapped, or neutralized. Colonies that should have burned remained intact. Systems that should have fallen stayed operational. Finally, the alien fleet began to retreat. Their commanders, shocked and confused, could not understand the efficiency, the courage, and the intelligence displayed by these humans. Jarek had not only survived, he had triumphed. The council hall was silent once more. The fear, the skepticism, the mockery, all gone. Now, there was awe, respect, and, in some hearts, a dawning fear of what humans were capable of. Jarek looked around the hall. He did not need applause. He did not need thanks. He had shown what humans could do. He had proven that strength was not in armor, not in size, not in perfection, but in survival, courage, and the will to fight. The silver-furred council leader finally spoke. Captain Jarek, humans are unlike anything we have faced. You have shown not only courage, but intelligence beyond measure. Perhaps it is time the galaxy reconsider its judgments. Unlike, Jarek simply nodded. Words had done their job, but actions had spoken louder. The hall had learned a truth that no one could ignore. Mocking a human, even for a moment, could be dangerous. The young alien who had first laughed now bowed slightly. Others whispered among themselves, discussing the human soldier who had not only survived mockery but had outsmarted a fleet that should have destroyed his people. Jarek stepped back, letting his squad take their positions. The council had learned something important today. Humanity could not be measured by appearances. They could not be underestimated. And Captain Jarek? He was living proof of the power of experience, courage, and the human spirit. Outside the hall, distant stars glittered. Far away, battles raged. But within this council chamber, humans had changed the galaxy's perception in a single day. They had gone from being laughed at, mocked, and underestimated to being feared, respected, and acknowledged. And Jarek? He was ready. The battles ahead would test every human in the galaxy. But if the past was any guide, they would endure. They would survive. They would fight. And when the galaxy doubted them again, they would show once more that humans were not merely participants, they were legends in the making. The hall fell silent. But this time, it was not mockery. It was reflection. It was understanding. The council had witnessed the hidden truth of humanity, and they would never forget it. Captain Jarek returned to his seat. The human squad followed. No words were needed. Their presence, their actions, and their courage had spoken for them. The galaxy had learned that humans, though underestimated, were forces to be reckoned with. And one soldier, wearing armor that looked broken but carried the story of countless battles, had taught them all a lesson they would remember for years to come. The council chamber remained quiet. The alien delegates stared at the projections of the retreating fleet, still trying to process what they had witnessed. Captain Jarek, wearing his battered armor, stood with calm focus. The battle had not yet ended, this was only the beginning, but he had proven one undeniable truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. Captain Jarek said the silver-furred council leader, his glowing eyes steady. Your actions have saved countless lives today. But the threat is not over. This fleet may retreat for now, but they will return, larger and more prepared. What do you propose? Jarek scanned the holographic displays, his eyes sharp and calculating. We prepare, we adapt, we fight when necessary, but we also predict. Humans survive because we think ahead, not just react. We will not wait for them to strike again. We will meet them on our terms. The council murmured. Alien leaders were accustomed to brute force, to displays of overwhelming power. But Jarek's approach was different. It relied on strategy, adaptability, and the unpredictability of human thinking. They had seen it in action, and now they realized that sheer numbers and shiny weapons were not enough. Jarek turned to his squad. Prepare our fleets. Organize defenses. Check every system. We move fast and smart. Every world counts. His squad moved with silent precision. Humans had trained for years in coordination, anticipating each other's actions without a single word. Their fleet commanders received instructions through encrypted communications. Every planet, every colony, every defensive station was checked and readied. In the hall, the council observed quietly. They had underestimated humans before. Today, they had witnessed one human outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight forces far superior in technology. And now they saw humans preparing for the next wave with calm efficiency, almost as if nothing had changed. Captain, said a large reptilian commander, his scales glinting, you move with confidence, but your fleet is still small. Can humans truly protect so many worlds? Jarek looked at him, calm and unwavering. Size is not everything. Humans find ways. Humans adapt. Humans survive. We will protect what matters, and we will fight anyone who tries to destroy it. The reptilian blinked, unaccustomed to hearing such certainty from a smaller species. Jarek's quiet confidence carried weight, a weight that no display of armor or weaponry could match. Across the galaxy, human colonies activated defense systems. Starfighters launched from hidden hangars, reconnaissance drones scouted enemy positions, and automated turrets took their places along orbital platforms. Every human pilot, soldier, and engineer worked in perfect coordination. Jarek had trained them for moments like this. The alien council watched in awe. Where they had expected chaos, they saw order. Where they had expected panic, they saw calm determination. Where they had expected weakness, they saw courage and intelligence guiding every action. And then the enemy returned. The alien fleet emerged from hyperspace, massive and bristling with weapons. Their commanders were confident, expecting an easy victory over what they thought was a scattered, unprepared human sector. But they had underestimated the humans again. Jarek's fleet moved with precision. Starfighters darted in coordinated patterns, confusing and distracting the larger enemy ships. Human engineers had modified weapons systems to exploit weaknesses in the alien fleet's design. Defense grids shimmered into life, ready to intercept missiles and energy blasts. The battle began. Alien cannons fired, and explosions lit up space. Ships collided. Energy beams lanced across voids, and debris floated silently against the backdrop of stars. The humans did not panic. They adapted. Every attack was met with a calculated response. Every breach was anticipated. Jarek's strategy was simple, but brilliant. He divided the enemy fleet into sections, isolating smaller groups and forcing them into traps. His pilots struck with precision, disabling key vessels while avoiding direct confrontation with the largest enemy ships. His engineers rerouted power to strengthen shields, protect colonies, and launch counterattacks. The council watched, their jaws almost dropping. They had never seen such coordination from a smaller species. They had never seen courage paired with intelligence so seamlessly. One human, Captain Jarek, was orchestrating a battle that would have overwhelmed any ordinary species, and yet he did so with calm efficiency. "Impossible," muttered the insect-like delegate. "How can humans do this?" Jarek's eyes were on the holographic displays, tracking movements, predicting attacks. "We survive," he said simply. "We endure. And we fight." The enemy fleet began to falter. Their attacks became disorganized. Confusion spread among their ranks. The humans had turned their strength against them, using strategy, speed, and unpredictability. What had seemed like an overwhelming force was now vulnerable. Jarek's squad followed his lead flawlessly. Each human pilot, each soldier, each strategist executed their role perfectly. They moved as one, a single organism with a single purpose: to protect their people and survive. The alien council could not look away. Even the most arrogant delegates were forced to watch as humans, small and seemingly fragile, outmaneuvered a fleet that dwarfed them in size and firepower. And then, the final moment. Jarek identified the enemy commander's flagship, the largest vessel in the fleet. With coordinated precision, human fighters struck from multiple angles. Energy beams cut through shields. Torpedoes hit critical systems. The flagship faltered, then exploded in a brilliant flash that lit up the battlefield. The rest of the enemy fleet, seeing their commander destroyed and their formations in chaos, began to retreat. Ships accelerated into hyperspace, leaving the human sector intact. The council hall was silent. For a long moment, no one spoke. The aliens had witnessed something they had never imagined. Humans, led by one soldier in broken armor, had defeated a fleet far superior in technology and numbers. Finally, the council leader spoke. "Captain Jarek, humans are extraordinary. We have underestimated your species. We have judged too quickly. Today, you have shown not only courage but intelligence, strategy, and leadership beyond measure." Jarek nodded, calm as ever. "Humans survive. We endure. We fight. That is all any species can do." The hall remained quiet. Even the alien elites who had laughed at his armor could not deny the truth. Humans had survived what should have been impossible. Humans had turned weakness into strength, improvisation into victory, and courage into legend. The young alien who had mocked him first stepped forward. I was wrong," he admitted. Your species is remarkable." Jarek gave a small nod. No pride, no arrogance. Just quiet acknowledgement. Humans did not need to boast. They let their actions speak. The council leader turned to the entire assembly. "Let this be remembered. Today, we have seen the hidden truth of humanity. Never underestimate them. They survive when others fall. They fight when others flee. And they lead when others falter." The hall fell silent again. But this time, it was different. It was not awkward. It was not tense. It was respect, awe, understanding. The aliens had learned something profound. Strength was not always in armor or weapons. Strength was in courage, experience, intelligence, and the will to survive. Jarek's squad gathered around him. They did not speak, for words were unnecessary. Their leader had once again proven what humans could achieve, and they had followed him without hesitation. Together, they had protected countless lives and shown the galaxy that humans were forces to be reckoned with. Outside the council hall, stars sparkled as fleets moved, colonies thrived, and the galaxy witnessed a simple truth. Humans endure. Humans fight. Humans survive. And when they do, they leave a mark no one can ignore. Jarek adjusted his armor, battered but still functional. The scratches, the dents, the scorch marks, they were proof of survival, not weakness. He had led humanity through impossible odds and emerged victorious. The council had laughed, mocked, and doubted him. Now, they would never forget his name. The silver-furred council leader approached. Captain Jarek, humans are no longer to be underestimated. Your species has earned respect today. And perhaps more importantly, caution. The galaxy will remember this. Jarek simply nodded. He did not need more words. He had proven what mattered. Armor could be broken. Weapons could be outnumbered. But courage, intelligence, and the human spirit? That could not be broken. That could not be defeated. The hall remained silent, filled with a new understanding. Captain Jarek had not only survived the ridicule of the council, he had turned it into victory. He had shown the galaxy that humans were not just survivors, they were legends in the making. And the message was clear. Never mock a human, never underestimate a human, and never doubt the power of a human who fights with courage, intelligence, and the will to survive. Captain Jarek and his squad left the council hall. Their armor battered, their bodies marked by past battles, but their spirit stronger than ever. The galaxy had witnessed the strength of humanity. And from this day forward, humans would not just be participants in galactic events, they would be remembered, respected, and feared. For Captain Jarek, the battle was over, but the war for respect, recognition, and survival had only just begun. And he was ready, as always, to lead humanity through every challenge, every battle, and every test the galaxy could throw at them.